Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers are in for Friday, November 21, 2025. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, to have news for Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn. Marco Reyes, Adrian Anchondo, makes a huge decision. Plus, Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, grills Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thabod. Let's start off with Chase, who has been investigating Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, to help clear Willow Tite, Caitlin McMullen. Chase went to speak to Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, off the record. That is when the blonde admitted that Michael forced her to give Jacinda Breckel, Paige Herschel, a job. In a preview clip for tomorrow, Chase shows up at Miller and Davis. The detective has a creepy grin on his face as he declares he can prove Michael lied about his alibi. As for Britt, she just witnessed Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, killing Professor Henry, Hank Dalton, Daniel Goddard. Then Laura Collins, Jeannie Francis, goes to change a flat tire only to find Hank's body in her trunk. Britt knew it was a grim reminder of her place in Sidwell's world, as long as she never betrays Sidwell. However, Britt is in panic mode and opens up to Jason. The brunette is sobbing as she tells Jason, "I have to know that you are worth me risking my life." General Hospital spoilers for tomorrow's episode reveal that Laura went to pull over to change a flat tire. However, her joy over winning the election is soon destroyed. The woman is horrified to find a dead Dalton in her trunk. Even though this will make her look like a possible suspect, Laura will call the cops. The woman knows that anything else will just make it look worse. It could also complicate the case for Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr. Of course, Sidwell and Ezra Boyle, Daniel Cosgrove, will use Laura's ties to Sonny to exploit this situation. As for what else to expect, Michael tries to play peacemaker. Meanwhile, Giovanni Gio Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza, opens up to Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard. However, a preview clip shows the mob boss saying, "There are moving pieces that you aren't considering here." Meanwhile, Marco makes a big decision. Also, Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, has a heart-to-heart with Michael about Gio. Friday's episode of General Hospital is poised to explode with emotional meltdowns, triumphant investigations, and one death that sends shockwaves through every corner of Port Charles. As secrets unravel and alliances shift in real time, several major players find their storylines colliding in ways that promise chaos heading into Thanksgiving week. Here's your creative, spoiler-packed breakdown of what's coming. Britt Westbourne comes undone. The episode opens with Britt in full-blown panic mode. After days of trying to convince herself she can handle her deteriorating health, Friday marks the moment her facade finally cracks. She's shaky, exhausted, and haunted by the fear that she's running out of time. Inside her office at General Hospital, Britt tries to review patient files, but her vision blurs. She grows lightheaded, clutching the edge of her desk. It's clear she's fighting a battle her body is no longer willing to hide. When Brad bursts in, frantic because Britt has ignored all his texts, he finds her pale and trembling. Britt tries to brush it off as just stress and insists she's fine, but Brad knows her too well. "You're not fine," he argues. "You're pushing yourself too hard, and you're scared to tell anyone." Britt lashes out, refusing to accept sympathy. But when she suddenly drops a folder and sinks to the floor, tears spilling down her cheeks, the tough shell she's worked so hard to keep intact finally shatters. Friday's episode delivers one of Britt's most vulnerable moments since her diagnosis. She admits out loud that she's terrified, not of dying, but of dying alone. The scene is raw, emotional, and sets up Britt's next major turning point, which comes with an unexpected visitor. Sonny Corinthos steps in. While Brad scrambles for help, Sonny appears in the doorway, drawn by Brad's panicked phone call. Britt tries desperately to pull herself together. She hates being seen as weak. But Sonny kneels beside her with surprising gentleness. "Hey, look at me," he says softly. "You don't have to go through this on your own." Sonny has always had a soft spot for Britt, and Friday's episode leans into that dynamic. He convinces her to sit on the couch while he stays with her, grounding her with calm, steady reassurance. "You stood by me when others wouldn't," Sonny tells her. "Now it's my turn." Their quiet emotional exchange is interrupted by a tremor in Britt's hands, a harsh reminder that her illness is progressing faster than expected. Sonny makes a decisive move. He insists she let him get her more help, whether that means a specialist, more support at home, or simply someone to talk to. "You fight," Sonny says. "That's who you are, and I'm not letting you give up." The episode subtly hints that Sonny may become Britt's new anchor as her world begins to crumble. Chase gloats. A win at last. Across town, Detective Harrison Chase is in a very different mood. After weeks of feeling stonewalled, undermined, and two steps behind every criminal in Port Charles, he finally has a victory, and he's more than happy to share it. He strides into the PCPD with a grin he can't contain, because the preliminary evidence on Professor Henry Dalton's death confirms what he suspected all along. Someone tampered with Dalton's final moments. And the way the evidence lines up, it points directly toward one of the very people who insisted they were innocent. Chase gathers Dante, Jordan, and a few officers to break the news. "Let's just say," Chase announces, smirking, "our prime suspect is about to wish they'd stayed quiet." Jordan reins him in, reminding him they're still dealing with a death investigation, not a victory lap. But Chase can't help it. He's been struggling for months, and this win feels personal. Friday's episode gives viewers a glimpse of the confident, sharp detective Chase used to be, and his renewed fire promises drama on the horizon, especially when he makes a call to someone who's not expecting to hear from him. "Meet me at the station," Chase says into the phone. "We need to talk, now." Dalton's death shocks Port Charles. But the biggest moment of Friday's episode, and the storyline set to dominate the coming week, is the ripple effect of Professor Henry Dalton's sudden death. Though many believe Dalton's work on cold fusion was merely academic speculation, his demise reveals just how wrong they were. Word spreads across Port Charles that Dalton's experiments were far more advanced, far more dangerous, and far more coveted than anyone realized. Within hours, the hospital staff, city officials, and even some residents who barely knew Dalton are buzzing about the implications. Was Dalton targeted? Was his research stolen? And who stands to gain from his disappearance? Laura Collins is shaken. Not only was Dalton a respected academic, but the timing of his death coincides suspiciously with recent attacks on the city's scientific and technological institutions. She fears a much larger threat brewing beneath the surface of Port Charles. Anna, still wrestling with her own crisis, insists on being looped in despite her personal turmoil. She's convinced Dalton's death isn't an isolated incident. Someone wanted him silenced, she says. And that means his work isn't just theory anymore. Even Sonny receives news of Dalton's death while still with Britt. The moment his phone buzzes, his expression shifts. Something about the report sends a chill through him, hinting that this storyline may soon intersect with territory he knows all too well. A cliffhanger heading into next week. The episode ends with multiple tensions rising. Britt, emotionally raw and physically vulnerable, agrees to let Sonny help her, though what that means moving forward remains unclear. Chase prepares to interrogate a key suspect, his confidence riding high. Jordan and Anna grow increasingly concerned that Dalton's death marks the beginning of a far bigger crisis. Sonny, shaken by a call he can't ignore, realizes Dalton's death ties into more dangerous territory than the public knows. And just before the credits roll, the camera cuts to an unknown figure removing a flash drive from a locked safe, labeled D Project. The screen goes black. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our GH News 24 YouTube channel for more update news.